Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's episode, which is, talking about all things Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 13, particularly episode 7, Dazed and Confused. Sorry that I had to push the time of this live back. If you guys are joining me live, I had some of my day job work come up. So thank you so much for your grace. And if you guys are catching this on the replay, thank you for that as well. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's dive right on in. So when it comes to this season, after today's episode, I felt very conflicted. I kind of feel like this season is just super toxic when I thought that it was heating up in a good way. And this kind of goes to, I'm not sure if it was just a rumor or a blind item that was going around where allegedly the producers for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills were interviewing a new housewife, like a younger housewife, and spending time with her and her husband and her family because they're thinking of doing a similar reboot to Beverly Hills that they did in NYC, because the producers were saying the second half of the season is even worse than the first half, and they didn't think that viewers like us, it would resonate with us. And at first I was like, I'm not sure if I agree with that, because I thought the season was like finally heating up with like all of the Sutton stuff, all of the Kyle stuff. But now I'm kind of like, I get it. It's just going to be the same rinse, wash, repeat over and over and over again. Like watching Kyle lie and deny, it's exhausting. Like, is this going to be the rest of the season? Like, what else is going on with the ladies? Dorit is becoming insufferable, as she's always been, with the whole home invasion PTSD storyline. Like, I don't like it when housewives make their entire personality just about their kids. Oh, Jagger, oh, Phoenix, homeschooling, blah, 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 blah. Like, what else is going on with you, Dorit? Like, I get it, you and PK are in a bad place, but like, what else is going on? At least create another fake brand to have a fake launch that we can laugh about. What else is good? I'm tired of the PTSD. I'm tired of the kids. Like, enough. I want more light moments and keys. Like, one thing that really was refreshing about this episode, and we'll get more into it when we go into the ladies' slides, is that what was really refreshing was that lunch with Sutton and Crystal and Garcelle and Denise. That was so fun. Like, they were just like laughing and hanging out. They all got along. It was cool doing light shade. It was a fun vibe. And like, that's more of the vibe and the energy that I want, rather than this like toxic, dark energy that's like Kyle and Erica and Dorit. They're just sort of very like toxic energies. And you can feel the difference. That dinner versus all the other scenes with the other ladies is just much more light and fun. And you can have really good shows with lightness and fun without having it be so dark and heavy. Watch The Real Housewives of Sydney. They do it beautifully. They have a lot of conflict and drama, but it's not dark and heavy, Also, I think that Sutton and Crystal and Garcelle are angling to get Heather Dubrow cast on the show. As we know, Heather and Terry just bought a new house in Beverly Hills, and they were posting a ton of pictures of each other, like Sutton and Heather and Garcelle and Crystal and Heather. They've been posting each other all over social media, and they've been hanging out and having a really fun time together. So I don't know how I feel. What do you guys think? Do you think that Heather Dubrow would work on Beverly Hills? Like, is she the right chemistry fit? I'm torn on this. There's one part of me that's like, yeah, actually, I think Heather Dubrow would fit the best in Beverly Hills, like fancy pants. But then I'm like, I don't know. Would she actually be more of like a New York housewife? I'm not sure. I have to think about that one, but put it down below. Let me know what you guys think, okay? So with that, let's dive into each lady. Okay, so Kyle. Kyle, at this point, it's literally exhausting, and it's Groundhog's Day. Do you know what I mean? It's Groundhog's Day with Kyle. Lie and deny and deflect. Lie, deny, and deflect. Lie, deny, and deflect. It's way too much. One thing that I did like was Kyle was finally opening up about her depression. I thought that was good and cool, This also is a good way to put her behavior into context, but she still owes LVP and Sutton apologies for how she treated them when they were grieving. So it's like, now you know what it feels like to have your entire world shatter when someone you love, takes their own life. Do you not now, at least in retrospect, in hindsight, have the empathy and the compassion to say, you know what, Sutton, I really was insensitive to, what you were going through when you were triggered by what happened to your father, and I'm sorry. You know what, Lisa Vanderpump, I now have a lot of empathy and compassion for you, and I am so sorry how insensitive I was and how poorly I treated you when you were grieving the death of your brother. I'm sorry. But there doesn't seem to be any of that from Kyle. There doesn't seem to be any reflection. In fact, it seems like she's going to weaponize her grief and weaponize the death of her friend to justify her piss poor behavior. She was caught resharing on her stories like this account. It's called like Your Bish Therapist, who basically just regurgitated the same exact theory we've been talking about since last summer, that Kyle is going through some sort of crisis because of the death of her friend, shattered her sense of self, and that's why she's acting out. Mauricio wasn't there for her emotionally or mentally or spiritually when she needed him, and that's why she's having these temper tantrums and wants to split. We've been saying that literally forever, but now Kyle is like reposting this other therapist's thoughts about it. And then at the bottom, she said, oh, and like everyone knew that this is what I was going through this season. Yeah, well, everyone knew that Lisa Vanderpump's brother had passed away, and you still treated her dirty. Everyone knew that, and you still treated her dirty. So, and to be perfectly honest with you, you guys did Lisa Vanderpump way dirtier than anybody on this show is doing you. The only thing anybody on this show has done to you said, hey, Kyle, is anything going on with you that you want to talk about? That's literally anything anybody has said. What's going on with you? You seem like something's up. That's literally it. And then Kyle isn't making sense because she can't have it both ways. She said she's going through something in her marriage, right? She said that at the weird, fake spiritual thing. But then she acts betrayed and shocked. How dare you when anybody asks her how she's doing and ask her about it? So it doesn't make any sense. You yourself said you're going through something. And then when people say, well, what are you going through? Let's talk about it. You get so offended and up in arms and acting like they are trying to attack you because they're asking questions. How are they supposed to support you if you don't talk about what you're going through? Doesn't make any sense, Kyle. You're also a hypocrite because you accuse Sutton of being a drunk. You accuse Sutton of having disordered eating, but then you can't take it when she asks you those same questions. Wow, you're exercising a lot. You've lost a lot of weight. Oh, you stopped drinking. What's going on with that? Very normal questions when anybody kind of does a 180 in their lifestyle, when they stop drinking, when they work out a ton, when they lose a ton of weight, when they're being very irritable. Anytime when somebody goes to the other extreme, people are concerned. Either way, they're either concerned and say what's going on, or they're like, oh, well, good job. Maybe you needed to drink a little less, and like, this is what you're doing for yourself and your own mental wellness. This is great, right? So I do think that Kyle is definitely being extremely hypocritical when it comes to this. You can't go off on Sutton for saying and asking questions when you do the same exact thing to everyone all the time. And also, like, the ladies are not attacking you. They literally are just saying, hey, Kyle, anything you want to talk about? Because your shit's looking a little crazy. Anything you want to talk about? Because you yourself said your marriage is having a really bad year. I don't know. Is there anything you want to get off your chest? Let's talk about it. Because Kyle would be the first person to be like, we need to talk about it. We need to tell the truth. We need to be honest. We need to own it. She would be the first person saying that. But if you ask her one question, she loses her mind and forgot how to talk. It's insane. Okay. Now, it was very clear that Kyle had a very scripted conversation with Anne-Marie about Sutton's esophagus disorder. I know, it's weird. It's funny. Like, we'll talk about it more in Sutton's slide, but I was just like, this is so scripted. And, Anne-Marie definitely held her hand up and was like, Kyle, I will be your Patsy. I will be your new Teddy. I will be your new mouthpiece. Just tell me what to say and I'll say it. Okay? Anne-Marie, girl, pipe down. I did feel bad for Kyle when she was talking about not being included in family milestones like Paris's baby and her children not meeting the baby and everything like that. But I did catch that Kyle still has so much jealousy and bitterness and resentment towards Kathy. Like, even when Kim Richards were saying, like, life is too short, we need to, all make up, we're doing all these milestones, we're wasting all this time. Kyle still had this sort of smirk on her face, when Kim was like, oh, if we go too long, it's going to breed resentment. She had this like nasty smirk on her face. Like, she wasn't actually trying to make amends with Kathy. She still was just very bitter. And then it also comes out, I'll talk about it more on the Sutton slide, with the whole, a big reason why I think Kyle is going so hard at Sutton is because she is jealous of the relationship that Sutton has with Kathy. And I do think she felt some type of way when Sutton chose Kathy over her, as Sutton should have. Sutton was friends with Kathy first, and also Sutton, believed Kathy more, and just when it came to their whole situation, right? So why should she not choose the sister that she knew the longest and the sister that she's actually closest to? So girl, bye. But I loved Kim. I love that she was the mature sister. She had herself all together, and it was really, really nice to see that. And I agree, Kathy and Kyle both could have done things differently, but Kyle is way more to blame, because she not only did she start it, but she facilitated it. She facilitated the quote Kathy takedown. She enabled Lisa Rinna. She enabled Erica Jane. Like, she got Dorit in on it. Like, you started it and you facilitated it, so you're more to blame. You're just mad because you got caught, and you're just mad because people like Sutton chose Kathy over you. Like, the nation chose Kathy, and I don't know why you didn't see that coming. Like, you messed around and you found out. It is what it is, Kyle. Okay. Now let's move on to Miss Sutton. So Sutton kept slaying when it came to Kyle, and I agree that Kyle is unhappy and doesn't want to talk about her personal things. Now, I also will say this. Sutton smoking a doobie was the best vibe of the night. Literally the best vibe of the night. Like, her smoking the joint, her smoking the doobie. I was like, Sutton, this is why I love you. You're so multifaceted. You're so fun. You're so cool. And she was like, this is legal. This is perfectly legal. I was so here for it. I absolutely loved it. She slayed. She was the best. Now, let's talk about the Sutton and Kathy story. So Sutton tells this story because Kyle is losing her crap, losing her mind. And she's like, you have to kiss her butt in public and all this stuff. The story that Sutton told about Kathy didn't change my opinion about Kathy. Like, so what that Kathy called Sutton and chewed her out because she didn't, have her back in the press. Kathy's the boss. It is what it is. She's the HBIC. Like, what else did you expect? Like, Kathy is Kathy. And I'm not saying that in the sense of like Kathy can't do wrong, because I don't hero worship anybody. Like, everybody can mess up. Everybody can do wrong. Everybody can be accountable. But for me, it felt more just like a fun kiki thing. Like, just Kathy's that girl. She's the HBIC. She's the list collector. Are you on her list? She's checking it twice. Are you naughty or nice? You're either in or you out. She's that chick. And she does have that pull, and she does have that swing. And I think just because she called Sutton and was upset that she didn't have her back doesn't mean that Lisa Rinna was right. Doesn't mean that what Erica said about her was right. It just means Kathy was pissed that Sutton was riding the fence in public, in the press. And I get it. If I had that Kathy pull, I might act the same way, Now, do I think it's a difference between like, do I think Kathy really chewed Sutton out in like a mean, vicious, horrible way? No, I think Sutton, as we know, Sutton is, you just say anything slightly to her and she's like, oh, name them. So do I think it was this like horrible chew out thing? No. Do I think Kathy gathered Sutton? Yeah, because Kathy gathers the girls all the time. She always gathers the girl, and she's just that chick. So like, that story didn't make me feel any type of way about Kathy. Honestly, it made me just think, yeah, she's HBIC. She gathered the girls because she can. And that was it. Kyle trying to make a big deal out of that, to me, was just being very desperate and very just grasping at straws. And just, again, shows how bitter she is. And it also exposes the core reason why she has such an issue with Sutton is because she's jealous of Sutton and Kathy's relationship. And she's pissed that Sutton chose Kathy over her. And she's probably pissed that Kathy chose Sutton over her too. They both, it works both ways. So it is what it is. Now, let's also talk about Sutton's illness, her esophagus illness. Do we think that's real or fake? Do we really think that Sutton has an esophagus disease where it's too small and she can't swallow? Or do you think that there is any truth to Kyle's claims that Sutton has disordered eating? I personally never thought Sutton had disordered eating. It seemed like she was just always kind of naturally frail. She used to be a ballerina. It never seemed to me like she had disordered eating. So I'm not really sure where that came from Kyle. But the esophagus story, also, I was kind of like, what? So I want to know what you guys think on that one. I'm kind of like on the fence whether that's real or fake. Like, who knows? Pink Dynamite says it's real. That's real. Yeah. I'm more keen to believe Sutton. I don't think she's like a liar like that, or she would make up like having an illness. And then Sutton shade when she says, "Do you want to lose a third sister?" comment. Do you think that was too low, or do you think it's okay that she went that low? Because prior to that, Kyle was basically saying that she didn't eat and that she had disordered eating, and she was making fun of her esophagus illness. So it's like, well, if you're going to cut me deep on something that's really hurtful to me, well, then I'm going to cut you right back. Because to Sutton, what Kyle was saying is very hurtful. If you do have some sort of illness and somebody uses that and then they throw it in your face, that's extremely hurtful. And then also for someone to accuse you of having disordered eating is also extremely hurtful and also very reckless of Kyle. Kyle herself has admitted that she's had disordered eating when she was younger and probably into her adulthood. And she probably has disordered eating now. That's how she lost all the weight. Eating way less, over exercising, Ozempic, maybe not, who knows. But like when you are losing weight, you do eat in a disordered way no matter what, whether you do it for a short time to lose the weight and then you kind of get back on a more healthy ratio to maintain your weight. But when you're on that track to lose weight, there is disordered eating because you have to. That's literally just like science. You have to eat less than what you are expending. And usually that's less than what you should be. But then when you get to a healthy weight, then you're able to sort of maintain that balance, right? So Kyle, girl, miss me with all this. Like, please miss me with all this. I don't even want to go there. But I want to know what you guys think about the sister comment. Like, do you think it was too low? Do you think it was like the punishment didn't fit the crime? Like, come back at Kyle with something about her disordered eating and her over exercising and alleged Ozempic use, but like, don't bring the family into it. Or do you think, nope, it's okay. You know what? You went low to me. I'm going to go low for you. Put it down. What do you guys think? Okay. Now let's talk about Ding Dong Dorit. So Ding Dong Dorit is so in love with Mauricio. She is the sniper from the side trying to expose the cheating rumors about Kyle and Mauricio because she wants them to divorce so bad. She wants them to divorce so bad so she can finally leave PK and then sail into the sunset with her boyfriend Mauricio. I'm going to break down all of the times that it was actually Dorit that Kyle should be pissed at, because Dorit was actually the one pulling all of the strings to get the cheating rumors on camera in public and spoken about. At the dinner, it was Dorit who went up to Sutton and said, "Sutton, are you going to confront Kyle? Are you going to talk to Kyle about everything?" She said that at the dinner. And then Sutton was like, "Oh, I need a cocktail first." This was not the last episode, but the episode before that. Then also at the dinner, when they're actually at the table, it was Dorit who kept amping up Anne-Marie when Anne-Marie was like, "Well, what are you talking about? Just say it. Just say it." And Dorit was the one like, yeah, just say it. Just say it, Sutton. She was like amping that up. Like, if you're actually Kyle's friend, wouldn't you be like, let's just squash this conversation. We'll talk about it another time. Why are you chiming in and trying to get that storyline out, right? Also, prior to this and the past episodes, the first person other than Kyle herself, when she kind of alluded to it at the whole spiritual ceremony thing, saying that, she and Mauricio were having a really tough year and how everything wasn't working out with them, and they were just like kind of struggling. But the first person to bring up the situation about Kyle and Mauricio was Dorit. She brought it up twice on camera. She brought it up when she was in the car with Kyle, when Kyle was bringing her to her anniversary, birthday, whatever the hell it was, pretty woman surprise. She brought up in the car. And then she also brought it up to Kyle when Kyle went to her and PK's house for dinner. She brought it up over dinner again about the problems that Mauricio and Kyle were having on camera. So Dorit is saying she's Kyle's friend, but she's the one who is continuously bringing it to the show on camera and egging people on. Also, tonight or last night's episode, the latest episode, it was Dorit who reignited the conversation by telling Kyle what Sutton said about denial. She was like, oh, Sutton said that you're in denial about something or whatever. And Kyle took the bait. She was like, what? What did she say? And then started the whole fight all over again. The entire conversation was squashed. Everybody was gagging and kikiing over Denise Richards being a loopy-loo. The whole conversation had been squashed. It was Dorit who reignited it. Kooky Kyle, less than smart Kyle took the bait, then went to go over to Sutton. What am I in denial about? What are you talking about? Don't gaslight me, blah, 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 blah. And Sutton was just like, hey, listen, I'm not talking about this anymore. You said you're good. I'm taking that. Like, I don't want to keep going with this. Sutton didn't keep the conversation going. Dorit reignited it. And then watch that scene when Kyle goes, well, in denial about what? And then Dorit is even more in it than Kyle is. She goes, yeah, denial about what? Like, she is like really in it. And then she brought it up again when Kyle and her and Kim went on the hike, making the quote joke about, oh, Kyle, you're not wearing your ring. We're working out. Why would you bring that up again on camera, reigniting the conversation, reigniting the rumors, unless you are systematically trying to break up Kyle and Mauricio and get those rumors on camera for the record to cause more drama between them? Do you know what I mean? It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And then I don't know if Dorit said this on Watch What Happens Live, because I didn't have time to watch it because, again, sorry, you guys, I started late. My day job sort of, I had more work today than I thought I was going to have. So I didn't get a chance to watch What Happens Live, but I did see a headline saying that Dorit was saying, oh, Morgan and Kyle's friendship has affected, or relationship has affected me and Kyle's friendship. No, Dorit, the rumors that you were having sex with her husband is what affected your friendship. Hello, da-dun-da-dun. That's why Dorit kept fishing and poking for Kyle to give her more information, because it's clear that Kyle really stepped all the way back from Dorit. They're doing little pleasantries on camera, keeping things kind of light. But, like Dorit said, she hasn't seen Kyle. She hasn't really talked to Kyle. They stopped doing things as couple friends. BK even stopped seeing Mauricio. They stopped seeing each other as couples. So no, it's not the fact that Morgan is in the picture that you and Kyle's relationship is on the outs. It's the fact that there's a huge rumor going around that you were having sex with her husband. That's why you're on the outs. I mean, duh. And the sad part is, whether that rumor is true or not, it's the type of rumor that, whether it's true or not, has consequences. Anytime there's even a whiff or an inkling that your best friend is sleeping with your husband or your best friend is sleeping with your wife, there's consequences to that. Unfortunately, whether it's true or not, you're going to have consequences. There's going to be questions. There's going to be paranoia. There's going to be people pulling away. There's going to be fights. There's consequences to that. There are certain things that people put out in the world that have consequences. You know what I mean? And so it's absolutely crazy that Dorit is out here acting dazed and confused about why her and Kyle are on the outs. Do you know what I mean? And she's been systematically the sniper from the side, really, she is the one pushing the whole narrative about Kyle and Mauricio and whether they're getting divorced and the cheating rumors. She's just using Sutton. And then because Kyle is like so wacky, she's also using Kyle because Kyle took the bait. If I was Kyle and Dorit said that to me, oh, she said this, I would have been like, oh, okay, like whatever, I'll talk to her later. Like, forget it. Because the conversation had been squashed. It was over, it was dead. But Dorit put life back into it, right? Now, Dorit versus PK. I actually really like PK. I know he's a grifter. I know he's a fraudster, allegedly. But I like him. I do. I like PK more than I like Dorit. I think he's funny. I think he's a moment. I think he's a beat. I like PK. And I actually have to agree with him. Again, I'm not a parent, but since they're bringing up their parenting opinions on camera, I'm going to weigh in on my opinion on what they said. I agree with him. I do think that the children should be socialized in schools. I do think it's kind of a disservice to their development socially and mentally to only be homeschooled, and no disrespect to people who have been homeschooled, no disrespect to people who do homeschool their children. I just personally think, and I agree with PK, that from a social normalization standpoint, it is better to integrate your children into society. Whether it's a public school, whether it's a private school, whether it's a charter school, I still think that having that level of normalization into society, having friendships, having dynamics, having structure really helps children to grow up in a developmental way. Now, if you are in a place where, because I'm not going to do a whole conversation about our school system, because obviously there are a lot of holes, a lot of things lacking, overcrowding, gun control, not paying our teachers enough. I totally get that. I'm just talking about in general, the idea of school and socializing your children, I think is a good one. And then on top of that, if you are blessed and privileged enough to be able to give your children tutors, then that's great too. But I don't think they're going to get the same level of socialization being schooled at home. I don't know if Dorit wants to school them at home because is that cheaper than going to a private school in the area? Because even though they live in Encino, private schools in LA are hella expensive. So even though it might look on the surface like, oh, she's spending all this money on teachers coming, at the end of the day, she's paying far less to get these, quote, tutors and teachers to come in-house and teach her children than she would be paying for 2 children to be in private schools in LA. So it could also be a reason why she's trying to explain away why she's homeschooling, because we always talk about, Dorit and PK's finances. It actually might be a sign of them not having money like that. Maybe, I don't know why she wouldn't put them in a public school. Maybe she thinks that homeschooling is better than public school. Maybe she's like, I don't know. Maybe that's what she's thinking. But money could be a reason why they're not putting them in private schools, because that's going to cost a pretty penny. A pretty penny. That's right, Miss T. PK even said send the kids to public school. And that's what I think it is. That's a shout out to Miss T. That's what I think it is. I think that she thinks her kids are too good for public school, but they can't afford private school. So in her mind, her best option is homeschooling. And that is where I think she's actually really pissed off at PK about. I think she's pissed off at PK because of the state of their finances. That's where I really think her hostility is coming from, and her anger and her wanting to, he doesn't support me and all of this stuff. I think she's pissed because of the state of their money. I think that if the money was there, if that's where the money resided, I actually don't think she would care if he was off in London if he was doing him all over the place. I don't think she would care. I think what she truly cares about is the fact that the money isn't there. And I think the money is a big part of the reason that she signed up with PK. You know what I mean? A huge part. So I think that the reason why she's homeschooling the kids is because they can't afford private school, but she thinks she's too good to send her kids to a public school. I went to public school and I loved it. It was fine. Then again, I also grew up in the boonies, but like, but still, she thinks her kids are too good for it. So that's what I think that's what I think is really going on here, Yikes, yikes, yikes. Chrissy says, how can she afford all the clothes and bags but not private school? Well, some of the clothes and bags could be borrowed. They could be rented. She could return them. They could be fakes and knockoffs. Who knows? And also priorities, they could not be in the right place. Hey, Chrissy. Hey, DGF. Hey, Sierra. Hey, Miss T. Hey, everybody. All right. Now, let's move on to Crystal and Garcelle. So I'm really loving, and I put them together on the same slide this time because we didn't really see a lot of either of them, but yet they were really good. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really loving Crystal this season. I think she's funny. I think she's shady. I still want to see more of her personal life. Yes, she's shady and she's funny. Yes, she talks about her brother and what's going on with him, but I still want to see more of Crystal. Like, I want to see Crystal be a lady who lunch. I want to see her, host a really fun boozy brunch with her 14 Beverly Hills friends. I want to see her on a private jet shipping champagne. I want to see her getting lit on a yacht. I want to see her, going into Givenchy and dropping 10 grand on like a little tiny purse. Like, I want to see Crystal living. You know what I mean? It's like, if you have the money, you have the means, live, Crystal. And if you are living, can you show it to us? Because I think production is editing her out, but I'm also curious is she giving production these types of things? Do you know what I mean? But I do love Crystal. She's a moment and she's fun. I also love Garcelle this episode as always. And like I said before earlier, I love the fun and the light vibe of Sutton, Denise, Crystal, and Garcelle. So, so fun. It definitely, again, was a bit scripted when they talked about Sutton illnesses, but so was when Kyle and Anne-Marie were talking about Sutton. I think both conversations were very scripted, but I'm okay with that. And this is more of the vibe that I want to feel with the show. Light and fun shade. The confessionals, Crystal and Garcelle, they're both lit. They have great one-liners. So does Sutton. And then also in the moment, they're showing up more. It's not just confessional shade anymore. They're shading in the moment. They're shading to people's faces. And that's what I really, really like, right? That's what I really, really like. I like when people are shady in the confessions, but then they're also shady to the face. You can't just be a shade assassin in the confessional. You got to show up, in scene as well. But I'm loving Crystal. I'm loving Garcelle. I think hopefully more as the season goes on, we're going to see more of them, more conversations. We do know it's going to be a Crystal versus Anne-Marie storyline going on. Garcelle is going to, again, talk more about her sons and her children, which is cute and great. But again, just like with Crystal, I still want to see more of Garcelle's life. Like, I want to see Garcelle maybe go out with her industry friends, maybe some of her actor friends or producer friends or her, lady who lunch friends. I want to see that too. Who does Garcelle hang out with on a random Sunday afternoon? Who is she going to high tea with? Like, that would be fun. Like, remember when it was a couple of seasons ago when she came in with, even though she ended up being a flop, Cherie, Will Smith's ex-wife, but they had that whole lunch with with Garcelle and Cherie and like all of their like socialite friends. Like, I want to see more of that. Like, I think it's okay to bring in more people who aren't necessarily a friend of, but they're just actual friends of the ladies and show that side of the ladies too. Add in a Crystal, add in a Sutton and have like a really fun boozy brunch, or whatever it is. Go shopping, go splurge, something. I think that's kind of what is missing from this season is those moments of like actual just luxury life of going on a boozy brunch and having it be fun, flying to Paris for some croissants, you know what I mean? Just like the girls just having like a fun, luxurious, lavish time, key. The problem with this season is that every single scene is so heavy and so weighted and so scripted and so clearly only in service of a quote narrative. Do you know what I mean? They're not having fun just living. And I think that is what's really missing, is that piece where they're just being goofy and having fun and just, being goofballs. Like, they're not living their life. Everything is so pre-planned and just so obvious and predictable. And I think that's what's really missing. Like, I want to see them go splurge. I want to see them get drunk and have fun. I want to see them, just do really fun things where I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to do that one day. Something that you aspire to, or something that you could like see yourself in. Like, oh my gosh, like they're at this great spa in like St. Bart's. Like, how much fun would that be? They're skiing and like whatever. Like, where it's fun and it's not just drama to create narratives that nobody really cares about. Like, that's what's missing. But I do love Crystal and I do love Garcelle, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them, and I hope they show more of who they are. Okay? Exactly, DGF. Oh, hi. Exactly, like the girls of the OC. Okay, now Miss Erica. I had an epiphany about Erica during this episode, and I want to see if you guys agree with me. My epiphany about Erica is this. Yes, I do think one of the big reasons why she's so, quote, calm this season is because she's been put on notice by her lawyers to chill the F out with all of the legal stuff. I think once, Tom's son or son-in-law and his CFO and even him got indicted, got the federal charges actually against them, that they are actually being charged with this stuff, I think that really shook her. And I think that's a core reason why she's acting so calm, quote, calm this season. Not that she's actually changed, but she's just putting on a mask because she doesn't want to get indicted either and provide the feds with more evidence and fodder to go against her. On top of that, my epiphany was, I also think that she was put on notice by whoever the powers or be are, whether they are Bravo executives or whether they are Las Vegas residency executives. I don't know what they're called, just whoever are the executives who book residencies. I think that she does not want to jeopardize her Las Vegas residency, coupled with she does not want to jeopardize her Bravo spinoff special. Because as we know, Bravo NBC gave her either like a 2-part special or some sort of like limited series spinoff all about her residency. I think it's called like Always Bet on Blonde or something like that, right? So I think that, and if you think about it, all of her storylines, going to see Magic Mike and, talking about her new publicist and, getting into shape and all of this stuff, all of her storylines have been pushing her Las Vegas residency. And I think that's a big reason why she also set up Sutton at the elevator, because she wanted to get Sutton back and to make sure she stayed in the good graces of the Las Vegas, and I mean this in a real way, like, male gay community, because those were the people that, she felt Sutton disrespected, Mikey and his husband and, the Magic Mike dancers who were predominantly gay. I think that she wanted to keep that demographic, quote, on her side, even though I do think she exploits that community a lot. I think she uses them. I think she used them sort of as props, as caricatures to create her, quote, Erica Jane persona. To me, Erica Jane exploits the gay community. She doesn't actually support or elevate them, but she knows that she doesn't want to alienate them. And then she also knows that she's going to need dancers. She's going to need word of mouth. She's going to need support for her LA residency. So I think she was super pissed at Sutton for jeopardizing that. And that's why she set up Sutton at the elevator on some give back, because she wants to make sure she stays in good graces. Because if you think about it, almost everything Erica has been talking about has been, I want to dance. I want to perform. It's, Vegas is the most amazing place in the world. Oh my God, I come alive here. Oh, Mikey. Oh, let's go to Magic Mike. Let's go to Vegas for Crystal's birthday. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence. In my Nene voice, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence that the ladies just so happened to pick Vegas for Crystal's birthday. I don't think it's a coincidence that they just so happened to go see Magic Mike, who is all of Erica's friends, in Vegas. I think all of this, Bravo included, have been really pushing this Erica Las Vegas residency narrative because they want to use it to promote the spinoff that they gave her. And it's also kind of sick because, I mean, I guess Bravo loves celebrating and, I don't know what the word is, rewarding criminals. Like, how is it Erica Jane is getting a spinoff? Like, I'm so confused. The meanest of the meanest, the evilest of the evilest, the person who's literally being sued as we speak for stealing from orphans and widows and being complicit in fraud, she gets a spinoff? Girl. And I think that's the core reason, coupled with her being put on notice by her lawyers, you need to chill the F out because you're not looking good right now. I think that's really the reason why she's like, oh, I found God, and for Lent, I'm not fighting with anybody. She made it a point to say she's not fighting with anybody and she's being so chill because I think the powers that be, not the God she's referring to, put her on notice. You say something this season to get canceled, your residency is over. You say something this season to get canceled, your spinoff is off the table. You say something this season to get canceled, the feds are watching. That's what I think the real reason why she's, quote, turning a new leaf. Not because she actually cares about people, not because she's remorseful, not because she figured out how to fake empathy, but because she's looking out for her number one. Because like Erica said, she doesn't give a damn about anybody but herself, and she meant that. So all of this new Erica is just for herself. Just for herself. So yeah. Miss T says, I thought Erica set up the Vegas trip. Yeah, but it was for Crystal's birthday. So remember when they went to Vegas for Crystal's birthday, but Erica set up the trip, which again makes sense. She set up the Vegas trip because she's doing the Vegas residency. She's getting the Vegas spinoff with Bravo and NBC, Yeah. Okay, you guys, let's move on to Anne-Marie looks like a foot. And I'm not body shaming. It's just what she looks like to me. And I'm not body shaming. This is what she looks like to me. So hearing Anne-Marie talk about her husband, every single time it makes me want to throw up. Because every single time I see her and every time she talks about her husband, it makes me think about the sexual assault allegations against him. You know what I mean? Like, thank God it doesn't trigger me as a person who has survived that. Like, thank God for that. But just knowing what he's being accused of and knowing how many viewers are watching who have been affected by that, either themselves or by someone they love, it's like I can't unsee it now. I can't unhear it. So now every time I see her, even if she's talking about her husband or not, it's literally the only thing I think about. I can't unsee it. Like, I can't put the toothpaste back in the tooth tub or whatever it's called, right? Like, once it's out, it's out. I can't unsee it. I think she is very boring to me. She's very flat. She is low energy, low vibe, but yet she's also at the same time like over the top. It's very weird. Like, she's very low vibe, low energy, but then when she does talk, she's very like pushy. Like, she's a very pushy person. Like, I agree with what Crystal said. There's just something off about her. There's something a little off about Anne-Marie. It does seem as though she's being edited out and isn't as heavily featured as she had been promoted to be. Maybe that will change in the upcoming episodes, especially more her versus Crystal. But I did see her holding the diamond this time on this episode, which was disappointing. I think Bravo and NBC decided to keep her holding a diamond, probably because they didn't know how else to edit the footage they had. And they chose keeping her on as a diamond holder to keep whatever corny storyline they had going, because they probably needed it for what's going on. Because if you think about this season, not a lot is actually going on other than Kyle. And that at this point is just exhausting. There's not a lot of else that's truly like going on. What's saving this season is, Crystal is a vibe. Sutton's a vibe. Garcelle is a vibe. Yes, they're all vibes, but it's not enough. There's not enough meat. There's not enough juice going on. And I also don't trust Bravo or NBC to put the feelings of victims or potential, not victims, survivors, of potential survivors ahead of the money they think they're going to make off of keeping Anne Marie as a diamond holder. I think it's really horrible. I think it would have been a much better look for them if they would have come out with a public statement saying, yes, we understand innocent until proven guilty, but giving the, egregious manner of the accusations against her husband, we have decided to, edit it out, and we're also going to make a donation to survivors or a certain foundation that helps survivors of sexual assault. That to me would have been the vibe and the mood. It's honestly kind of disgusting that I'm just talking out loud at this point. It's kind of disgusting to still support Bravo at this point. Like, if I was ahead at Bravo, if I was an executive, that's what I would have done. I would have been like, we're not weighing in on his guilt or innocence, but just given the gravity of the accusations, we're donating to, a survival company, not company, but you know what I mean, foundation. And we've decided to, lessen her role on the show as to not trigger, people who may be survivors who support our network. Something. But to say nothing and then to still keep this chick on the show and then let her keep her diamond is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Okay. Now, do we think her and Kyle are actual friends? I mean, to me, it's a gut no. I don't think they're actually friends. I think Kyle and Anne Marie met at, I think wasn't it like an open house that the agency was doing? They met, and then they realized they lived in the same area in Encino, not Beverly Hills. Neither of them live in Beverly Hills. They live in Encino. And I think that Kyle just needed a new ally. And I do think that it might be a little bit of a diversity hire, since there was so much contention last season with the racism claims and the homophobia claims, and Garcelle so gracefully talking about what her experience is being the only Black woman on the cast and racial microaggressions, and then Kathy being accused of but being racist by Lisa and Erica, which I think is a lie. So I do think there was a bit of two birds with one stone. Let's get an Anne Marie. She can be Kyle's new mouthpiece since Teddy's not there and Lisa Rinna's gone. And she can also add to the diversity of the cast. I know Crystal is Asian 100%. But I do think that them adding more diversity to a cast was a strategic choice. I think someone like an Anne Marie would actually be great. And by like an Anne Marie, I mean, like, I think it's fine for them to add more diversity to the cast. And on paper, it should be someone like an Anne Marie, someone who is, I guess they have money because he's like an NFL player and she's a doctor. So like, someone who does have money, someone who is, I guess, she's not that cute to me, but whatever, like, fit, has the husband, has the kids, all of that. On paper, Anne Marie would be great, whether she's white, Black, Hispanic, or Asian, whatever it is, right? I don't really care about the ethnicity. I think it's fine to hire more diverse people, as we should, right? On paper, she should be a great fit. But the problem is, on paper doesn't translate to chemistry and the energetics of a person. On paper, Anne Marie would be great. But the way she translates in real life to me is a flop. She seems I don't know if it's because she's an athlete, but she just seems like hulkish. And I'm not talking about her body. I'm talking about like her, like, like that. I'm not talking about like her weight or her muscles or anything like that. I'm talking about her actual like physical presence. Because how like jocks kind of are. That's what I mean. And that's kind of weird. Just her energy in general, her vibe in general, like she just doesn't seem like a vibe. She's not with it. I'm not with her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's talk more about people at the dinner and everything else. Now, let me know if you agree on this. Is this a popular or unpopular opinion? I thought Denise Richards was a total vibe. I was living for loopy Denise. I don't know what she was on, but I was like, can you please send me some for Friday night? Because whatever planet you're on, I want to come visit you. I was living for Sierra said, you said she got a hulkish aura. Oh my God. I love it. I was living for Loopy Denise. I thought she was a complete and total vibe. There were things out there saying that, like, allegedly, like, she wasn't allowed to say specific things at the dinner, things that occurred, like, off cameras by the producers. So she came across as even more loopy, like, when she was like, well, without actually saying what it was. But then at the lunch with the ladies, she says that it was because Erica made the comments about threesomes and sex in front of the minor children and their friends when she had the barbecue at her house, and she never apologized. So maybe it was that, but we also have to remember that Erica did say that Denise's daughters probably already knew what a threesome was, alluding to her daughters probably already had threesomes. And that's pretty messed up. Do you know what I mean? And that's not the first time or the last time Erica has treated children like adults. She hypersexualized Denise's daughters, and then she cussed out Garcelle's son. So she has a pattern of treating children as if they are adults, and they're not. You know, to hypersexualize somebody's children by saying that they probably already know what a threesome is quite frankly disgusting. So I do get where Denise is coming from. I thought Denise was talking about her having Lisa Rinna's back, and with the whole like Brandy hookup situation when the Faux Fox 5 tried to come after Denise saying that she hooked up with Brandy. That's what I thought she was talking about. But she said she was talking about when Erica basically said her daughters knew what threesomes were, and she was talking about it at the barbecue and everything. Either way, I think that Denise is a vibe. I loved Loopy Denise. Erica, she can play dumb all she wants, but she knows how she treated Denise. She knows she was dead wrong. And I think that Erica and Lisa Rinna, because we're talking about when Denise was on the show, and probably even Kyle, are just super jealous of Denise. Denise is beautiful. She has been a working actress forever. She stays with an acting gig. I was just watching one of her movies on Lifetime the other day about like the evil maid or something like that. Anyway, Denise is always booked and busy. She was married to Charlie Sheen. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And then even for them to now kind and try and shade, you know, Denise and her daughter for doing, you know, fans only, you know what I'm talking about. I don't care about that. Like, I hate it when people try and shame people, and especially people like Erica Jane are trying to shame people for monetizing their bodies or monetizing their sexuality, when literally Erica said that her entire life with Tom was an arrangement. So if you're not monetizing your body, Erica, I don't know what that is. And aren't you Pat the Puss lady? So Erica, you're Pat the Puss. You basically said that you were in an arrangement with your husband, trading money for sex. Because to me, isn't that the arrangement? If it's not, let me know. But that's what I thought she meant by an arrangement. Isn't that what we usually think about? So you've monetized your body and your sexuality literally your entire life. And you have the audacity to try to make Denise feel bad about it because she's on frickin' fans only, which a lot of people are on. Frickin' Leah from NYC, from Roni, is on there. A ton of people are on there. You guys already know how I feel about sex workers. I think that it should, not that OnlyFans, oh man, I said it. I hope I don't get docked for my monetization, but fans only. I mean, I guess it's sex work. I guess it's a type of sex work depending on the type of content you put out there. But I don't really care about that. I'm not a judgy-wudgy person. I think that to each their own, you know? It's not for me personally, but it doesn't have to be for me personally, you know? People don't have to live their lives based on how I choose to live mine. You know, people are allowed to live their lives as long as it's consenting, as long as they are adults, as long as it's safe. People are allowed to live their lives and monetize whatever the hell they want to monetize in their own way. It is their life, you know? So Erica needs to miss me with all that. Like, really, really miss me with all that. I loved Kim Richards. She is so wacky and so lovable. I'm happy that she looks healthy. She looks like she's doing good. She was definitely like the voice of reason when it came to Kathy and Kyle. So I was definitely here for that. And then I wanted to see more of Camille. Like, I feel like Camille didn't even really talk during the whole situation, right? So I definitely wanted to see more of Camille with that whole situation because she's really funny. She has great one-liners. I don't know if she didn't talk or if it was edited out. Who knows? And then my last bit about Erica that I forgot to put in her slide. Erica needs to shut up because she keeps butting into the Kyle and Sutton drama, being like, oh, you're being attacked. It's not fair. It's not right. Excuse me? First of all, Erica, it's none of your business. And number two, it's totally okay to question Kyle about her marriage. It is literally not only the title of the show that you're on, but it is the exact premise of the show that you're on. You are on The Real Housewives. So why is it an attack all of a sudden on Kyle to ask her about her marriage? When Kyle and Mauricio have monetized their marriage and their family as a brand for the last decade. So if you're able to brand and monetize your marriage and make millions and millions, according to everybody, they're worth $100 million. You're making all of these millions and millions of dollars on it. Why is it all of a sudden a personalized, dark, dirty attack when you're simply saying, hey girl, what's up? So Erica, shut up and pipe down. Ugh. But I want to know what you guys think. There you have it. Those are my thoughts on this season and last night's episode. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And of course, I will drop the link in case any candy canes want to come up and have a fun kiki. And while we wait, we will take your candy cane questions and comments. So Barbara says, I would never be on that hypocrite Kyle's side. I can't stand her anymore. I agree. She's hard to watch. It's very exhausting and very hard to watch. Petoskey says, I was like, Kyle's side. Who in the world is on Kyle's side? I love it. Petoskey's laughing. Hey, Candor, you want to share?
Hi, sorry, I know it's late. But have you been doing the scrolls for each housewife? Can we go to the She-Hulk? Now, I don't get what this is. Every 2 minutes, she had something to say when Kyle stopped speaking, and then Kyle started up again. Like, what the hell is it? Does Kyle just hire these women as bodyguards? Like, seriously, she's like, they get manlier and manlier every year, don't they? I was just like, she had Crackpot Rinner with the gob. She had Teddy walking like a footballer, and now she's got Mrs. Jim Fit over here, like gonna let loose. She didn't suit the dress what she was wearing, not for her body figure and stuff like that. And it's just like, what are you doing, Anne Marie? What are you doing? And
Yeah.
for the fact that they were laughing about Sutton's surgery, like whatever's going on with Sutton,
Yeah.
whether it's true or not, she's supposed to be professional.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing that on camera. Like, which company is she working for?
That part. She'll be fired in a second. 1 second, Candor. I want to take this super chat. Thank you so much, Natalia, for the super sticker. I really, really appreciate it. It says, hi, Candy, love your review. I met Ariana Maddox today at the Sherry Shepherd show. She's milking everything from her situation. Girl, I don't even know if I want to review Vanderpump Rules because I can't, not that I can't stand Ariana, but I kind of can't stand Ariana. Like, enough. She's not this like victim. You know what I mean? She's not this sort of like she is milking it for everything. And now she's going to be on Bravo. And it's not like she wasn't complicit. It's not like she didn't partake in it. Enough. I'm fatigued on her. So, Natalia, I agree with you. I hope you had fun at Sherry Shepherd. And thank you so much for the super sticker. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Candor, you keep going, sweetheart.
I've never seen a game of tennis look so awkward in all my life.
Was it
Like,
pickleball?
you can clearly tell these people do not get along with each other. This is all for sure, and it's just BS. Kyle needs to recruit every season because they keep on going missing. There's a reason why they keep on going for Kyle, because you do not have real friends, the acquaintances. And do you know? Can I be just frank here?
Yeah.
Situation. We are on Housewives. all this situation has to be open in front and saying what's going on in their lives. Did Kyle not get the memo after how many seasons?
I know.
And and like, hello, Kyle. Is something going on in your marriage? You're like a housewife. Hello, what is going on? And
Hmm.
I think Kyle's just on the wrong show because if she thinks she's going to skirt out of it, she's mistaken. It's like
Agreed.
Sutton has done nothing wrong, basically, apart from ask a simple question. And
Mm-hmm.
Kyle's had a freaking like a meltdown. And
Mm-hmm.
when we're on about Denise, it's clearly that Denise had a drink before she came to this party, and then mixing it with weed, she's going to be off her trolley. But I thought it was hilarious. Like, I love Denise. I don't care what people are saying. People are sniggering and like doing like little shady things about it, but I was absolutely loving it because for once it was just comical to watch. But the thing is, when she was sitting at that table, because my mind's long, and I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
sitting at those two picnic benches late on the night time, Erica's talking about threesomes and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
whatever. And then in her confessionals, like what you were saying, she said about alluring to the daughters knowing more than what the blah because of the ex-husband, which is just absolutely disgusting. Doesn't make you say
Yeah.
the daughters know anything.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what she's done, but she's trying to act all Miss Prim and Proper. But at the end, I just wish Denise didn't take as much stuff, and then she could have like directly said it to her.
Totally.
Um, but Denise needs to come back with Camille for diamond holders. She really does. And as for Dorit trying that cheap shot, is your jacket on right? I was just like, Dorit, if you're going to talk about anyone's fashion, honey, let's talk about your fashion. Yes, let's do it.
There you go. Okay, stay on, Candor. Miss Bernice, you want to share?
Yes.
Hey,
I,
sweetheart.
hey, Candy, how you doing?
I'm good.
Um, Anne Marie didn't make a good first impression on me because
Mm-hmm.
as a healthcare professional, and you sitting up there laughing about someone else's disorder or disease that you don't know
Yep.
nothing about,
Yep.
but you sitting up there he key because you good friends with quote unquote Kyle fake ass.
Basically.
Really, really.
Yep.
You're Kyle is still. You don't drink anymore, but you still angry. You but you still angry. You still the angry person who kept shaking Sutton last year
Mm-hmm.
when Sutton and the fake chick and Kyle was sitting there talking and you shaking Sutton like, listen, are you listening to me? Sutton looking at you like, if you don't get your hands off me, you still that same person. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't blame it on the alcohol. That's you.
Yep.
And I wish these women would stop using Ozempic as their weight loss program because Erica looked like a bobblehead and a skeleton all in one.
Not a bobblehead and a skeleton.
Yes, because if her head go one way, her body gonna go that way too. Because when she walked into the room with the rest of the ladies, and I'm looking at her like, oh, she's a walking skeleton. Erica's legs were always defined. You could tell she had muscles and everything on her legs. When she walked in there with that mini dress on, and I'm looking at her like, that's not a good look. Because Jennifer B from New York,
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey, she
Yep.
just got out the hospital from using that stuff. And you drinking. You can't drink when you use that. And you steady drinking. Do you know that your intestines could back up on you and clog
Yeah.
where they have no other choice but to put you in the hospital and they have to surgically remove that clog?
Yeah, it's a lot. And people have
Yeah.
passed away from it. Like
Yes.
people have lost their lives on some Ozempic tip. Like it's not
Yes.
worth it.
No, the ones who are not using it, who diabetic or who are using it to regulate their sugar, they have no problem with it. But
Yeah,
it's
they're
these ones
fine because
who
they're
want to use it.
abusing it. Mhm.
Yes, because
Yeah.
you can't drink with it. No alcohol whatsoever. You cannot drink with it. And these women are still drinking and partying. Ooh, I'm gonna lose 20 or 30 pounds. Like, okay, cool. And then, because it was one woman, I think it was last month,
Okay.
she was using it to lose weight to go to her son's wedding, and her husband found her
It was her
in the
daughter's wedding.
bathroom.
Yeah, and he
Yeah, her
found her in
daughter's
the
wedding.
bathroom. It's because she was trying to
Yes,
fit into a certain dress, and he found
yes,
her in the bathroom, and she was like vomiting all over herself, and they couldn't resuscitate her.
yep.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and she was vomiting so bad because her intestines had bagged up.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Ugh, hang tight, Miss Bernice. You stay up. Natasha,
Okay.
you want to sound off?
Oh, hey.
Hey, girl.
Oh my
Hey.
God, that sounds horrific.
Yeah.
Like, yikes. Like the whole time she was talking, I was just going,
Yeah.
yikes. Yeah, I agree. Like Erica is starting to look like a kind of like a lollipop walking around. It's getting bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anne Marie, I feel like I agree with like everything you said on this episode. Anne Marie, it just comes across so inauthentic. It's like you clearly are a plant.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't even know these women. You're aggressively piping in every chance you can. It's giving very pick me thirsty. It's
Yep.
not authentic.
Her name should be Pygmesia instead of Anne Marie.
Not pick me.
Pygmesia.
And not to be petty, but I do agree with Candor with like I feel like she isn't dressing for her body type. Like tube tops, like strapless is not for her. It's not for
Woo.
everyone. We just have to accept this sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and I do think that Dorit was being condescending with the coat. I don't think she was concerned because that's just her personality.
Yeah.
She tries to mask it so she can be like, oh, I was just being nice. I was trying to be like, girl, there were cameras there. You didn't think you were being covert. Like,
Mm-hmm.
stop the charade. Because I saw that she doubled down on that on Watch What Happens Live.
Yep.
I kind of forget. I'm Team Sutton, so there's that. I kind of thought it was iconic that she lit her joint up at the. She probably did it for
I'm
me.
smoking a doobie. Like
I
it
feel
was
like she held her
amazing.
own, and she was
She did.
kind of like. I was like,
She did.
yes.
She was low key gangster with it.
She was like she. That's how I would describe it. She looked like she was some like Southern outlaw that she didn't give an F. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come at me, girl. Like, and then she lights her joint. I'm like, oh my God, I knew I liked this chick.
I love it. She goes, it's Lego.
She goes, it's late. I love when you do, Candy, your Southern accent. It always makes me laugh. Yeah, I forget everything I was going to say. I'll probably remember when other people start talking per use, but that's it for now.
Nice. Thank you, girl. Stay up. Hey, Tamara, you want to sound off?
Hey, hi Candy, how are you?
Good. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay. Hi everybody. I may just have a few unpopular opinions, but
No, it's totally fine. Go ahead. Whatever your opinion is totally fine. You do not have to agree with us. You can share what you really think. You're welcome here. Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually like Erica. And I'll tell you what, I did not like Erica when Rena was on. I liked Erica when Yolanda when Yolanda brought her on for the first couple of years. I liked her. I was like, she's cool. She's doing her thing. She didn't care what people thought. She stood up to Dorit and PK, and it was great. And then Yolanda, got sick and everything. She got off the show, and then Rena came on, and I felt that. Okay, Erica was always a bit sassy, and she did have like the little mean girl-ish, but I felt she was nice, mean girl-ish, but nice. overall. And then I feel like Renna brought out that mean girlness in her, and she just like her and Renna were like Thelma and Louise. I don't know, but they were, they were really tight. And that's when I was like, oh, Erica, you suck. Like, I really did not like her at all. I was like, oh, Erica, go off, And then I feel like I couldn't deal with her. But I find that, and then the last 2 years in her, just being who she was and the whole majority thing. But then this year, I feel like there's a bit of that first season Erica back. I just feel, and it's just coincidentally, Renna's not on the show.
That
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting that. I'm like, because those years I was like, Erica, what happened? You were cool. Just like Denise said, you were so nice. And then you became, and I was praying for Denise to say, because Denise is like, I'm like, yes, I'm talking to the screen. Yes, Denise, tell her, Renna. And she's like, And everybody's like, yeah, go ahead. Even Garcelle was like, yeah, go ahead, say it, But she didn't. But I feel that it was Renna, not to excuse Erica for her behaviors. I think Renna brought out that mean girlness out of her, like a teenager. Like where
I will, where I will 100% agree with you on this is I have always said this, and I want to know what you think about this because you like Erica. I've always said that I thought that Erica really wants to be friends with Garcelle. Like, I think that deep down, she actually really likes Garcelle. She thinks Garcelle is cool. She thinks she's that girl. She's got that black girl swagger, that black girl magic that Erica still wants to be a part of. And I always thought that the reason why Erica never got close to Garcelle was because of Lisa Rinna.
Yes.
She was the one who really
100%.
sabotaged all of that. But with that being
100%.
said, I still think that Garcelle should tread lightly because I do think that Erica and Garcelle are now forming a friendship. I think now they're good now. They seem to be pretty
back
good
to square one.
Yeah.
So, tread lightly, Garcelle.
Yeah. Just tread lightly, just put a toe in, maybe not the full foot just yet.
Exactly. And I think that's what she's doing. I think that's what she's doing. She's like, all right, Erica, we're starting back, and I think Erica actually appreciates that. Like, I feel that's genuine to me. The only person that I really feel is disingenuous throughout from season 1 to now, I've never wavered on her is Kyle. Never. She ever. That is the one person. Like, even Dorit sometimes I'm like, all right, she can be nice sometimes. Okay, she annoys me. But she can be nice. She annoys me. She annoys me for the most part. But Kyle, I can never she's so fake to me. She has problems with her sister. If you have problems with your sister, she's had problems with Kim, Kathy. Kim and Kathy seem to get along, but why is Kyle the common denominator in that sister trio? And then she just keeps going. She always plays the victim, and then she cries. And she's like, I just, I hope it works. It's like, come on, Kyle. Like, she's like the baby, I guess, or the youngest. Like, she comes off spoiled brat, youngest child. Me, see me to me. Like, so that's the only one that I could say never wavered. And Anne-Marie, I want to give her a chance. I mean, of course.
No, it's okay.
Like, at first I was like, oh, she's friends with Kyle. Oh, here we go. They're going to put 2 black people against each other, like, right away. I was like, here we go. It was giving me Dr. Wendy from Potomac and Becca. Okay, I was like, oh, they're doing this with Beverly Hills now. But I don't know. I think the little thing that I was like, maybe she may not be what she portrays to be is when she said, I want to get to know Sutton a little more. And I was like, okay, maybe she really does. Like, so I want to give her a chance. It's been like, she's a newbie. She knows she's a newbie. She knows all eyes are on her, but I don't think it's the real her yet. I think we're gonna have to wait and see what that is.
Yeah. I think that I want to get to know Sutton comment was a plant though. Like, because she was clearly talking crap about Sutton to Kyle. And she's like, oh, but I want to get to know Sutton better. And Kyle's like, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come
But
on.
who was it? Okay, was it Teddy that was brought? Okay, Teddy was brought on by Lisa Vanderpump, right?
By LVP.
Yeah. and they were cool. It was Teddy Bear, and it was all that, and then Teddy flipped and got with Kyle. So
Yep.
who I'm thinking maybe she might, because I saw kind of a bit of a, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm delusional, but I thought I saw a bit of a chemistry between Garcelle and Marie. Like they were like, it seemed like they would be cool. You know what I mean? So
I
I'm
hope
thinking,
so.
Yeah.
Like, please, we don't need any more black on black crimes. Like,
But
we don't
Kyle,
need any more.
But Kyle, I can't. No black on black crimes, please.
Please, no more.
But,
no more.
But stop it. But like let's unite a little bit. Come on these shows, like you're. But Kyle though, that girl. I mean, I can't. I just can't. And the yelling, like at the table, like there's a lot going on in my life. And I'm like, oh my God, Kyle, you're like a child. Like calm down.
And then you saw her housekeepers were like, okay, pobrecita, like, okay, Kyle.
Yeah. She's like, yeah. And I'm all for Sutton. Sutton is a bit more aggressive this year. But you know what? This girl's been bullied, so you go, girl. Do your thing.
Girl.
Like,
and with the doobie, I was like, yes, you light her up. You light her up.
I loved it. I'm like, what? That whole dinner, night got me cracked from Denise. And I was like, yes, Denise. Just bringing out the expressions. And she's like, yes, everybody's having a good time. Yeah, so Erica. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I loved it.
Me too.
So, yeah. So that's
me
too.
Oh, I loved your takes, and I appreciate a fresh perspective. And as always, everybody's opinion is welcome here. Whether you agree or disagree, we will laugh. We'll have a kiki. Everyone's welcomed here. Yeah, so I appreciate you. You're welcome, sweetheart. Oops. Hey, beautiful Kai. You want to share, sweetheart?
Yeah. Well, hello. Good evening. Well, good evening for me. Everyone, I don't know where everyone else is at. My take will not be fresh. Okay, I'm here to also dog out Kyle.
Okay, yes. Go ahead, girl.
I am getting sick of Kyle talking about the social climbing situation with Sutton. I am sick and tired of it. Kyle is such a hater. She's such a beta. She's such a little sister who's never really the true star. She gives so much that. Because remember, the first season, Kyle told Camille, well, why would they want to film you without Kelsey?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
Ew, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And now, because now it's been 2 seasons in a row of her implying Sutton's social climate with Kathy, which I didn't know that Sutton was friends with Kathy before Kyle. But then also I'm like, Kyle, Sutton has been going to the Met Gala before you and Mauricio were trying to get the real estate exam passed.
That part.
What are we talking about?
That part.
That part confuses me. I'm just kind of actually, I'm sorry, I was lost for words for a moment. I was just why are we saying this when there's these old, decrepit 2000 photos of Sutton at the Met Gala, and you were in your shabby home on the edges of Beverly Hills trying to take this test to go ahead and eventually screw over your brother-in-law? What are we doing here?
That part. And I think it's also telling that, Kyle keeps being like, oh yeah, they just want to be at Kathy's parties and blah, blah, blah. And then Erica's like, well, Kathy has, a list and she has all the parties and she's the queen of Beverly Hills. How come they're not talking about how Lisa Rinna sent Kathy a bouquet of flowers and a whole apology letter and then had this woman on the phone for 20 minutes kissing her butt, trying to get back in the good graces? So Lisa Rinna kissed the ring, and now you're trying to go after Sutton when Sutton actually has money and Sutton has her own prestige. Sutton is just a part of that world. Her husband literally runs $1 trillion
hedge fund
financial hedge fund. Girl, she makes $350K after tax per month. She's good.
Well, to me, I just feel even with Erica saying, oh, I don't care about this stuff. I'm like, Erica, you were never invited, my dear. You were never invited.
That part.
For one. And for two, you talk about, I don't care about social status. Wasn't Erica on this show for years bragging about Tom being this big lady? And did we not see her go to dinners and getting stopped by sheriffs and DAs and all this kind of stuff? Erica is where she is right now because she went ahead and made sure she got the big shark who owned the little restaurant she worked in to get her this little pop career. So this idea that you just don't care about it, when I'm like, ma'am, the whole reason why you're even here is because of connections and social circles.
100%. Full stop
with that. It's just the fact of the matter is your social circles were very different than a Sutton Kathy situation. I think that's the only thing. Even with and then Kyle also the social Kyle. When you had your first space, you were the main one going around screaming about how you were Kathy and Nikki Hilton's aunt. You were on E! News True Life talking about their story.
Not E! News True Life.
Was she not? Kathy wasn't there. Paris wasn't there. The brother they hide wasn't there. Nikki wasn't there. The father wasn't there. But Kyle was there to talk about them.
Because remember, her whole thing was, I'm Paris Hilton's aunt. That was literally her name.
Yeah. And so now we're supposed to be, she just wants to go to her parties. I'm just like, ma'am, shut up. And I just feel kind of like, I don't know if anyone heard her little quip when Sutton said, what's going on in your household? And then Kyle was like, well, which household?
Which
I'm
one?
like, ma'am. Weren't you just laughing and telling Sutton she was out of touch because she was worried about child support and now you're going to try and throw my face about households? Like, I don't care about your household that you were just able to afford.
And she might not be able to afford them if Mauricio loses all these multi-million-dollar lawsuits.
Oh, that lawsuit. Oh, girl, lawsuits. Oh, Jesus.
Multiple lawsuits. So, like, maybe that's really why she's having this mental breakdown, is because of the lawsuits and the financial situation. Because Mauricio, allegedly, has been dipping out her for over a decade. And there's always been rumors about him sleeping with other people. So is that the biggest reason why you're going crazy now of the rumors? Or is it because you're about to lose all your money and your assets because you don't have a prenup with someone who is allegedly defrauding the government?
Yes. And I think it's Miss Bernice who said it beautifully. Kyle is still just as angry and bopping her head around and screaming and stomping as she was when she was drinking. So what's the difference here?
Yeah.
Because a podcast I listened to, they shared on a Twitter, like you remember that season Kyle had some bangs? And Erica and Dorit
she got really mad.
Yeah, and telling Dorit, can you shut the F up, shut the F up, F you, Dorit, because they were asking her about how her relationship with Teddy is weird. So this idea that Kyle can be asked questions without her freaking off on people is absurd. Because anytime anyone asks Kyle a question, she loses her mind. Even though when Erica filed for divorce with Tom, wasn't Kyle the same one in her confessionals? Good friends, I think you would have said something about your divorce, but I guess we're not that close.
Kyle is literally the biggest hypocrite. She's the definition of the word hypocrite.
She's the definition. And I'm just like, I know some people think the sister comment was low, but I don't, because I've been saying, and I'm pretty sure you've heard me say this before, Candy, that I do find Kyle and Sutton's relationship weird because I do feel like Kyle treats Sutton like she treated Kim. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out where that comes from. Something about I don't know if Kyle gets aggravated by Sutton being accepted by her kookiness, because Kim does also have the same kind of kookiness, Something about that relationship does give me sister aggro vibes. It just does. And so to me, some people are like, oh, well, I think that comment was low. No. Kyle is now petitioning people to say that Sutton's an alcoholic. Yep. Kyle is now making fun of the pills she takes for her nerve damage. Yep. Kyle is now saying she has an eating disorder. Yep. I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. You're sitting here talking about, I don't know if you had their first drink, 5 drinks. I don't know if your peels for your feet. And you see, you have this eating disorder, but I know about your throat issue. No, then let's talk about the sisters. Basically, she was like, I'm coming for it. She's like, you coming for me? I'm coming for you. What? You want to lose a third sister? There it is. Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So to me personally, that wasn't too low, because I'm just like, we are literally watching Kyle go to different people, trying to insinuate, talking about Kyle's drinking. Yes, talking about Sutton's drinking, and now she's adding on this ED situation. And to me, I'm like, well, the disgusting part is, Miss Kyle, we just found out you had an eating disorder a couple seasons ago when Crystal came on the show, talking about how you warmed up V8s, and that's the only thing you would eat. So to me, that is more reason to believe, girl, is there a problem? Because obviously alcoholism runs in your family. You've already talked about you have an eating disorder, and now all of a sudden you're only sleeping for 4 hours a day and exercising for 3 hours, and you look like a twig. Which, people are naturally thin, but I'm sorry, to me, Kyle does not look that healthy. being this that it doesn't, because she's already a small woman. Like Kyle's actually quite small in the first place.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm just like
Kyle and I are like me and Kyle are like the same height. I might be a little shorter than her.
Isn't Kyle like 5'2"?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 5'2". She's
a little baby.
Yeah, she's like tiny like we are. Yeah.
Yeah, you are the tiny queens.
Tiny ones. So I'm just like, and Kyle, posting this therapist is like, well, her friend, unfortunately took their lives, and that's what she was going through. Mauricio, I'm like, Heffa, we already know this part. I'm sorry, because you're trying to explain all your behavior. No, it looks weird that all of a sudden it seems like you're emulating this child who's younger than your oldest child. It looks weird. Because to me, I think someone made a great point of like, okay, if she's not drinking or whatever, kind of, but also kind of looks weird now that she's saying, oh, I connected with Morgan because like we're both sober and both working out, but it seems like you only started doing that when you met Morgan. And you sought out Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan says she stalked me. I'm sorry, but like if anybody says you stalked me, like you need to go to a real therapist ASAP.
What 54-year-old is seeking out a 28-year-old for friendship?
You're stalking people, girl.
Girl, what? Think about gender roles. If it was a 54-year-old man who stalked a 28-year-old woman, we would be up in arms.
We'd be calling the police.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We would think it's weird. Yeah.
We think it's weird. All right. He has sounded off. So at this point, chime in, jump in, and just have fun.
I'm just wanting to know who's signing up for Richard's DeWalt designs, because I know I'm not. What the hell was that all about? And she says, oh, I'm waiting for the call for Phoenix's room. I wonder if she's still waiting for that call. It's like, what is going on, Kim? You are crazy. Like, this is what your sisters have done. They've messed you up that bad. They've let
Poor Kim.
Asylum for the episode. She's all nervous.
So cute.
She's all nervous and can we just all get along? Blah blah. Like, Kyle, can we just all get along? Kyle. Like being family.
Well, Kim's like, I feel like all the sisters try with Kyle and they don't want to fight. It's just Kyle always just does stuff to backstab them, and they can't help but like have boundaries with her, but they ultimately would like hope to resolve it. So she like is always on eggshells around Kyle because Kyle's like a nightmare.
Can Kyle go back to the little house on the prairie like she used to do? Can we get that Kyle back where she was?
I remember that. Oh my god.
I think you're right, Kai, though. About the whole like sister vibe with Sutton. I get that too. She treats her exactly how she treated her sisters when she was mad at them. Yeah, she gets that very like intense, juvenile like outburst.
Have you not noticed if anyone's more famous or has more money and is liked by the fans, Kyle attacks them?
She loses it, yeah.
Yeah, because like let's not forget in Aspen, Kyle was sitting there making fun of Kathy not like being impressed and wanting to get dressed up in Aspen. It seems very clear to me that you went with your sister, your sister snapped, and then your friends went a little too far. I feel like y'all talked about it. Your friends went a little too far, and you realized, oh girl, I'm screwing up because the Hiltons and the Rothschilds are supposed to be coming to Farrah's wedding. That never happened. And then towards the end of the season, you're up in Sutton in Garcelle's face crying about why are Rena and Erica not letting me go. And then at the reunion, you want people to like get in between you two. Meanwhile, you already cursed out Dorit when she said it's both of your fault. And now we're in this season, and you're like, well, Sutton didn't stand up for me at the reunion. Heffa, it was your other friends who were tearing your sister up. Like, yeah. I don't know what you want to do. Like, no one should really be getting involved in your sister mess. And then when someone does get involved in your sister mess, you curse them out and say, oh, don't flatter yourself. So then, ma'am, don't expect me to do anything when it becomes between you and your sister.
That part.
And she bullied Sutton to death last season and literally like left bruises on her arm. The nerve of you to assume that she was going to rally for you in your toxic attempt to take down your own sister is literally shows how mentally unstable you are.
That's how she's Kyle's so much of a narcissist, in my opinion. I'm no doctor.
Yes.
But, I mean, why didn't you stick up for me against my sister? That's family business. That's when you just like sit back and let the two duke it out. Like,
Yeah, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, like who's supposed to come and save you, Kyle? Like, calm down.
And then if she would have interjected herself, she would have been like, mind your business. This is family business.
Exactly.
Like with Kyle,
like she was with Dorit.
Like she was with
Exactly.
Dorit. Stay out of it. Like with Kyle, there's no winning. Like if you ask her, hey girl, how you doing? Stop attacking me. If you don't say anything, why didn't you have my back? Like you can't win with her. It's so freaking cool.
Because she's a perpetual victim.
It's all
no matter
about
what.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? I am so impressed with Cynthia. This is the most I've seen 50 Cent talk in an episode. As she is coming up, I mean, it's been years of training, but she's finally getting the hang of actually talking on screen in an episode. I just think we should give her a round of applause because she's actually doing her job now and she's not just there as wallpaper.
I thought Cynthia talked on Atlanta, no.
Oh my God, you guys. But like that Jason guy, I know he's annoying, but I will say I did laugh when he like had that like reaction to Erica going, I don't even care if he's rich or poor. And he immediately, his head like nearly gave him whiplash. He was like, whoa.
I think poor to Erica is like 6 figures, not like a multimillionaire like Tom. Like, so let's define poor Erica.
Exactly. I feel like she's on this like weird fantasy thing where she's pretending to be down to earth and it's just like not.
But I think, after spending like how many years with Tom, I mean, she that's a sacrifice there. That's your whole 20s and 30s.
Arrangement, baby.
I was surprised that she admitted it was arrangement though.
Yes,
like
I was very proud of her for
admitted it.
Say it, Erica. It's an arrangement.
She's like, I'm going for love this time, not an arrangement. Like last time I was like, oh, okay.
So
we're doing that now? We're admitting that?
That last second when she finds out he's got no money.
Right? She's like, I guarantee, I think Candy's right. I think she was told to like clean up her act. And now she's on this like weird pretend humble character.
She was always like that in the She was like that in the beginning.
Damn.
Remember? Y'all remember Erica in the beginning? She was not the mean Erica. No, nobody.
Right. She was snapping at people making analogies about her son.
What?
Yeah, remember she like got possessed by a whole demon in Amsterdam.
Don't you ever talk about my son?
Yes, that was
there, Eileen. And Eileen was like,
that was during Renna.
It reminds me of the old like Chris Farley skit when he's like, lay off me, I'm starving out of nowhere. You're like, whoa.
That was the Renna era.
Right. Because she did the thing. You don't know what I go through.
You're right. That's when Renna broke that glass and tried to like stab Kim. Amsterdam had a lot of demons.
That was
like
Renna's
Amsterdam was wild. Wild.
I just could never get into Erica because I always felt she was like playing. Obviously, everyone's like playing a caricature of themselves in some sense, but she never really seemed real because one minute you're crying to Tom and saying how supportive he is, and you can be here without him when she was signing her contract for the Roxy, whatever, Chicago. Now all of a sudden, he was never supportive. I'm just like, ma'am.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah, I'm over this.
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say this: no panties from the get-go.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say about her kid.
She pulled that Sharon Stone move where she's like crossing her legs with no panties and then she played dumb.
That was a good season for her because she went up against Dorit.
Yeah.
I loved her then when she was like, okay, Dorit, like, calm down, blah, 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 and PK and all that. And they were doing all that nonsense. Like, I couldn't stand Dorit at that time. That's when she was like turning on LVP.
Talking about Dorit, it looks like she's up Shit's Creek. She can't afford bleach.
Oh, the money is gone. The money is gone.
Oh my God, her hair. Her hair is getting darker and darker.
Yeah, darker. Just like, oh my God.
On Watch What Happens Live, it was like almost like black at the top. I was like, holy moly.
Does that have to do with money?
It's like, gone, girl. It's gone.
It's on the budget, and I'm just wondering, is she steaming the name Chanel on random Shein?
She's ironing it on.
But
That's
then has the nerve
your
to go over
no,
to
it's
Denise
ding
and say,
dong
is
by
this
Dorit.
upside down?
I'm like, do you not understand how asinine it sounds that she said she got robbed with $10,000 cash in a cart? I'm just, girl, my
Come
face is
on.
When she said that she got robbed again, I had enough. Like I
No,
just
no,
had
no, no, no,
enough.
Natasha.
Like,
It was the I took 10,000 cash in my purse, and I was just
right.
walking around shopping the mall. Heifer, you go straight home. You go straight to wherever you supposed. You're not.
What?
What? No,
She's
no.
not like
And not
How can
many
you
waving
be
people get
herself
beat.
with
scared
a
to
wad
go
of
to?
cash walking around the mall. Like,
How can you
stop
go?
it.
How can you go? How can you be scared to go to Garcelle's event and be like all jumpy and then walk around alone with $10,000
Yes.
cash at the mall? It make sense. It doesn't even make it make sense. It doesn't add up. Like, which one is it?
They're so out of touch with reality. They think that the public is stupid.
Come on, Dorit.
Now, when she said that, I was just, it was so stupid. It was so stupid when she said that.
That's what I mean. It's like her like lies and her like some of the stuff she says. It's just like, girl, you're insulting our intelligence. You got to stop this. Like,
Mhm.
we
Does
need
it-
you to reel it in.
Is it just me, or does anybody feel that she has a little bit of, I don't know, a little animosity against Garcelle? I don't know. There's
Yes, we
something.
always, yeah, we
We're
talked
always
about it.
Oh,
There.
100%.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm not
I'm a
one
little
to
great.
I'm not one to accuse anyone of this, but like I will say I get a sense that she's got some like a hinge of you know what, like
Racism?
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
feel it.
She also
100%.
and
she also has some odd comment to say after saying something, and then it goes left, and it's always pinned to Garcelle.
yeah, it's like her
always consistent.
animosity, the anger is just like jolts right to Garcelle out of nowhere. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And
She's like,
she speaks to
Garcelle.
her and she
Like,
speaks
oh
to
my
her in
gosh.
such a dismissive, disrespectful way.
Yes.
Like
like
it's
she's
the
scolding.
tone she uses with Garcelle that she doesn't really use with anybody else.
Yes.
Yes.
That's really what it is. It's like, excuse me, miss, why are you trying to check Garcelle when Erica bodies you every single day? Why don't you go check your little friend Erica?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it all started when she said, "Oh, her mom was best friends with someone who is black, and she hires black." And I was like,
Yep.
"Girl,
She has like
Yes.
she has
Oh,
black
yeah.
are we
help.
for real right now?"
Like
Calling her
PK showed
Ramona.
It's
her
like,
up.
that's the best you can do.
I was like, "Are you trying to be a
Sorry.
caricature of a human? Like, what is going on?"
And I do find it fascinating because I'm because Kenny knows this. I will talk about the colors and I will talk about the racism and all this kind of stuff. I think Kyle's got her moments here and there, but it is fascinating that it feels like every conversation Dorit has, there is a tone. There is a very strong tone with Garcelle.
Yeah,
And some people are like, oh, I don't understand how Garcelle and Sid are friends. But then I'm just nosy. I need to have I'm nosy. Like surprisingly, Sid has a lot of black and brown friends, so she just regularly hangs. Is best friends with some girl from basketball wives, and their daughters are best friends. She's a very eclectic friend group. But Dorit, you don't really see color around Dorit.
Right.
And then Kyle has this man who used to be her mammy, that she's allowed, has helped get on E. That's like
Justin. I can't
Justin.
stand him.
Oh, I can. Oh, it's kind of interesting to see that a lot of the people of black and brown people that they have around them have some ties to working for them, and
yeah.
not just like friends. Because when you really look at Stephanie
Yep.
doesn't actually have quite a lot of like black and brown. It's surprising because when I was being nosy, I was surprised. But Dorit, girl, you're a child of the world, and your friend group is not very worldly.
Can I just say one thing? Chrissy is left a comment. Chrissy, it's not that anyone from any color can have beef with each other. It doesn't matter. You either like the person or you don't. But it's the way Dorit keeps on having these little innuendos pointing towards Garcelle or including Garcelle, and she's been doing it every single season. I'm just like, wow, Dorit, wow.
It's undeniable. It's like it's
Pete
there.
showed her up today when they're sitting there talking about the kids and stuff. Dorit's a bit dotty. I always called her Dotty Dorit for a reason. She is a wackadoodle. Like, she's off the planet. And it's embarrassing that your own husband has to embarrass you on camera to point out that you're a bit crazy in the head. But it is what it is. Do higher than it.
The reader give me the character from The Help. At the end when she grabbed her and said, "Ain't you tired, Miss Miller?" You a godless woman. Ain't you tired? Because Dorit, every time she talks to Garcelle, it's in that tone. Like,
Yep.
you're less than me. Why are you
Yes.
talking to me?
Yep, exactly.
It's
who do
like,
you think
oh,
you're
you
talking to?
again? Like, it's like, yeah,
Right.
there's like this tone.
Yeah.
I
And I
kind
also
of
want
feel
to
like
say
It's there.
and I also want to say to Crizzy, like, obviously not. We're not saying only Black are allowed to have beef with Garcelle. It's the way in which Dorit interacts specifically with Garcelle.
yeah,
Yes.
Dorit has beefs with other women on the show, but she doesn't speak to Sutton when she's going after Sutton in the same dismissive, elitist, condescending, patronizing voice and tone that she does with Garcelle. Garcelle has beef with Erica. I don't think Erica's a racist.
Exactly.
You know what
Erica,
I mean?
you
We've
don't get
never
that
said
vibe
that.
from her.
They've gone head to head, toe to
Yeah.
toe, and it's never given that Erica thinks Garcelle is beneath her at
Exactly.
all. So
And
we're not
Erica's a
doing
lot
that
of
at all.
things, but we don't think
Erica's
she
a lot
is.
of things, but I don't think she's racist.
We never
Yeah.
got that vibe from Erica, even though
Yeah.
we go, ever. Yeah.
Can I say one thing without trying to be controversial and stuff like this?
Go
I
ahead,
feel
Babu.
at times with Garcelle, she has to put a band-aid on certain people in this group. And she can't fully be herself because she doesn't want to be seen as like a typical stereotype what people think a
Yep.
black woman is, and it's not the case at all. The best when I see Garcelle is when she is blunt and she gets to the point where she just calls them out straight away instead of putting on like nicey nice just to be nice to the fakeness, you know what I mean? But that's me in general. I like it when people are like real, if you know what I mean.
Wait, now
And
what's a mine?
you know what I mean? As I prefer that people be upfront and real, and so you know where you're coming from, and that's what I want from Garcelle, just to start being an actual real self and not having to put on nice fake.
Yeah, she shines when she like actually
Yeah.
is like, yeah.
Because you see the
When she's like, we're talking about the husband. We're talking about the husband enough.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
when
same with
Erica was like,
Crystal.
really? And Garcelle was like, yes. I was like, queen.
Yeah. And she's like, where's your necklace from, Zara?
Zara.
And
Yeah. And she's
I
like, and
absolutely
what?
loved it. It's the same with Crystal though. When Crystal steps up and actually opens her mouth and says this is not right and stuff like this and points stuff out, I'm like, finally she's starting to show a bit of realness. Like, can we keep the real?
I wish they would like start their own Fox 5 and like really unify in like a big way against these women, and then so we could really like see some action, because I'm sick of them like thinking they can just rule.
I think
Yeah.
there's a bit of a start now that Rena's out. I really
Yeah.
think Rena was really the key, to that whole toxicity. Well, and Kyle, the best at the Fox 5. And Teddy's gone. Oh, did you hear? Teddy had a show, right? Like a podcast. It was 2 T's and a pod with another housewife.
With Tamara.
And Tamara, yeah, and she got canned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody
What's
wants
crazy
Teddy.
is they just put an episode out interviewing the Tom Toms, the two of them.
I mentioned that
So,
last week.
I
Live
so like she got canned right after that. That's embarrassing.
That's very embarrassing. Oh, poor Ted.
Teddy
Poor
Bear should
Teddy.
have stuck with LVP, and
She would have been a lot better off because LVP just got a new show on Hulu, Vanderpump Villa.
You go, LVP. That's
LVP
right.
is breaking in. She is laughing all the way to the bank.
That's
She's
my
like,
girl. That's my girl.
Oh, it's on Hulu. That's
It's on
interesting.
Hulu. It's called
Yeah.
Vanderpump Villa.
Oh.
Yep.
What is it about, though?
It's about like one of her new restaurants that she's opening.
I think in
it's
like the
almost- I
wine
think it's, like,
country,
in the wine- I
Yeah.
want to say like, is it in France?
Napa
I thought
Valley.
it was in France.
Napa Valley?
It's.
Napa?
I think this one's in France because they actually
Okay,
have a
okay,
villa.
yeah.
I think it's in France. I want to say.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like LVP is killing it. She's laughing all the way to the bank. And these ladies are out here just like me, being content creators with podcasts and YouTube channels. The water's fine. The water is fine. I was saying that about Bethany Frankel.
That's what I was just about to say. Okay,
Right, because she's
Bethany.
like the queen of spin. She's like, I don't want to do TV shows with like executives and having to wait and all this stuff. I want, content to the people. I just
Yeah.
want non-traditional media. I was like, Bethany, you mean you are influencer just like me? You mean saying you have a podcast and a YouTube channel and a TikTok just like me. I was like, Bethany, it's not content to the people. It's called an upload, okay? It's called clicks and views. It's not called.
It's called
non-traditional
you got
media.
rejected from every show you
It's
tried to
called
like
you have
sell.
a podcast on Apple Podcasts, just like all the rest of us. The water is fine. Come on in. There's more than enough room for everybody. Like
Yes.
it's
I
fine.
still like
The
that.
content creating is huge.
It's huge.
Like, it is huge. No, it is. This
I
is
thought
the
you
thing.
said cute, not huge. That's why I was laughing. I was like,
No, don't say no.
Don't sleep
laugh
on
at me,
content
Natasha. I'm a
creators.
content creator.
Cute.
I'm a content creator. But I'm like,
Yes.
well, water is fine. Come on over. But like on paper, Bethy and I have the same exact job. We both have a podcast. We both do
Yeah.
YouTube. I'm trying to grow on TikTok. She's huge on TikTok. We have the same exact job, Bethany. Oh, girl, stop.
What was she trying to put down? Like, what was she trying to? What was
She
trying
wasn't
to say?
trying to put it down. She was trying to like reframe. Like, I'm just all about content to the people. And I'm like, an
Content to the
Instagram
people.
account? Like, what are you talking about? Content
well,
to
that's
the
why like
people?
she does this weird thing where she cosplays as like
Yeah.
middle class, and then everyone started calling her out. Like, why are you at Applebee's, Bethany? Like, stop.
Right. It's like saying
Like-
a sanitation engineer, you're a garbage man.
Exactly.
And then she kind of like shows that she's not when she accidentally talks like everyone has Tiffany's. Like she'll be like, you know, like when you get your Tiffany's, I was like, not everyone has Tiffany's, Bethany. Like, chill out.
At the end of the day, she's just trying to come across as though she's one of the people, smoothing it over that she is just one of the people. But the thing is, what Bethany needs to understand is, originally she was just one of the people, and that's what she will always be. Most of these housewives are just people, apart
They
from
are.
ex-actresses what's trying to relive the youth through this media. It's so sad to say, but no. What I will say is the two people what I think's been done dirty, and they keep on appearing. Denise and Camille, they should be given diamonds. I'm sorry, but they should be, and two people should go out of the main cast because they bring more than what most of them do on the actual show. And it's funny how the friends are stepping up more than what the actual main ones are doing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm finding what's hilarious. The fact that they're getting paid a certain amount of money, and then the ones what's on every week are getting paid far more and doing less. So, yeah, I find it kind of like hypocritical that the fact that they haven't got diamonds when they are given.
But Camille had a diamond. Remember?
Yeah, I think she
Yeah,
should.
she did.
I think she should have it back
She should get it back.
because she is
What-
always giving content.
What did y'all think about Camille the first season? I hated her. The first season.
The first
Remember?
season, yeah, I couldn't stand her.
What she called herself, Jesus or something like that. Remember that? When she
I
was with
can't-
Kelsey Grammer before the divorce.
She was
first
really,
season.
really obnoxious her first season.
Oh, she was horrible.
I
and, like,
remember that.
And even
I
at the
like her now,
reunions-
but I will admit,
Yeah,
she
now.
she was too much. I think she was like playing into it, and then when she got humbled by that whole situation,
Yeah.
then she became likable again.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
that first season, when she still thought she was Mrs. Camille Grammer, like it was pretty
She was a
insufferable.
disaster. And remember at the reunion, first season, Andy said, "How do you feel about people saying that you're the most hated housewife in America?" And she was
Yeah,
like,
everyone
"Wow."
hated her.
Yeah. Did y'all see the Candy? Did you see the first season with Camille?
I can't really remember.
Oh,
Like, I
it was-
know I've seen it because I've watched all of it. Like, I've binged all of it. But I feel
Yeah,
like
she was bad.
She
I
was
feel
one
like
with
I-
Adrian.
You know what it was? I feel like I liked Camille because I could sense that she was hurting. Like, I could tell her and Kelsey weren't in a good place. And so
Okay.
I think I knew that like she was like really upset and projecting a lot. And then I didn't like how Kyle was like, "Oh, why would we film without you?"
Yeah, Kyle was
and all that stuff.
That
And so
part.
I think
Kyle
that,
hasn't
That is
changed.
outrageous.
yeah,
Kyle
I think
hasn't
I
Kyle's
think
the
I did like
worst.
Camille because I realized those parts of her was because she was lonely.
Mm.
I like when she said the morally corrupt Faye Resnick.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Cam-
That
Camille
dinner.
is a legend, regardless whether you like her or not. She is, and she does a lot
Yeah.
better than what Kyle does. Kyle has no personality. Kyle feeds off other people. Kyle has no
Yeah.
content. And when you do get content out of it, look what she does.
She has a whole meltdown, and it's like
Screams like a
weird
little
to
bird.
watch.
Like,
She
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
hyperventilates
tell my mum what you said.
and like
she's like, oh
loses her mind. It's really weird.
And then blames it on her anxiety. Like she really kills that. Like she
she
really
does not
uses
have
that.
anxiety. I don't care what anyone
I'd
says.
be like,
That
if she
woman-
ever came up to me and had questions about my life, I'd be like, girl, where's your anxiety right now? Because it's giving your hypocrisy is overwhelming.
Exactly. It's just it's a barrier to hide behind so no one can touch you. And it's very common when people do that to manipulate others. And she's one of those people. What does
Yeah,
that?
totally.
It
And
really
like Candy said before, it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. If it's not Kyle's way, Kyle makes sure it is her way. And
Yep.
But she really
she's
doesn't
that type of
understand.
person.
She really doesn't understand how she comes across, because in one scene she's saying things about it's really tough. It's been a tough year with her and Mauricio, or her marriage, and then she's like, "What do you mean, son? What are you trying to insinuate?" Like, and
I'm
she's
like,
yelling
girl,
at her in
you
the next scene.
insinuated yourself. Like, stop.
And meanwhile, Sutton is just saying she just wants to know, is everything okay? What's going on? There's something going on, which is what a friend does usually, and she's going off on her for that.
And meanwhile,
Yeah,
Sutton tells her stuff and she like rolls her eyes and makes fun of it.
Yeah.
It's like so weird and like rude. It's like,
she's
what are
made
you
out
doing?
so sudden. She just declared World War III on Kyle, and she hasn't. All she's asked is a question. And
Yeah,
God
she
forbid you ask
an
ask
obvious
a friend a
question too.
question.
She's acting like, oh my God, you're being so crazy and asking me these questions. Like, girl, she's
You're on
asking
a
a
reality
very
show.
obvious question. Yeah.
You're on a reality show. It's called The Real Housewives. Can we be real for once? What's going on with your marriage, Kyle? You don't seem your normal self. Why are you not drinking anymore? Why can't she just admit that she was on the Ozempic and she's not allowed to drink?
You know
I
what?
can't afford
Oh my
to drink.
That was I just had an
gosh.
epiphany when Bernice said you cannot drink while you're on the Ozempic. I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. Because
And
look at
not this bull crap
Erica
about
and Kyle,
I
the
cannot
same
afford to be
season.
depressed. She's depressed because she's craving for a drink and normal food, but she can't because she has to look a certain way. And I'll tell you what this Ozempic's
You
doing.
can't eat
making
when
her
you're
look
on
older.
Ozempic. It's really like gruesome.
You can't
The
eat?
thing is, this Ozempic, it's making her that thin, her skin. Look at her arms. Look at her hands.
Yeah, she's tiny.
She's looking older because she's getting that skinny. Women should, I mean, don't get me wrong, you get all different body types, you do. But I always think a woman looks better when she's got a bit of meat on her bones because it keeps the skin just right. When you're a rake, the skin starts like disintegrating and you're looking older. And you really are. You've got to
Let
like
me just tell you, I am moisturizing my hands as we speak.
yeah.
Always. Every time you bring up Kyle, I'm
Every
reaching for
time
the
you bring up Kyle.
moisturizer.
Really?
I am just moisturizing as we
Yeah,
speak.
Kyle's claw hand scared me and Candy straight. Like
I
we're
know.
moisturizing.
Now I'm gonna
Hey,
look.
not today, Satan. Not today. Look
No,
at
I'm
Tony in the
gonna
face.
look
I
now.
don't think
With hands.
I don't think it's Kyle what's making Candy do her hands. I think it's
No.
because of what I said. What's making her moisturize her hands. Every time she sees me, she's moisturizing her hands.
Moisturizing.
No, that
Oh
all
my
like
of
quick
it.
keep for
goodness.
claw made me terrified. I'm like, I need the lotion now.
I'm getting some cocoa butter, some
I'm
baby
gonna have to
oil, some
rewatch the
Vaseline.
episode. I never noticed.
Yeah,
But
I
Not
like
was
today.
scared
I'm
straight.
just like laughing my back off at the situation. The hypocrisy in this group of women is crazy. There was someone in the chat what said something about Kyle saying the double standard where she didn't want to explain herself, and then she's making Denise explain herself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Lavender.
It's like
That
the
is the thing.
hypocrisy
Hypocrisy.
occurs in like a span of like 2 seconds. Like she'll say one thing and then turn around and accuse someone else, and it's like literally within 2 seconds. That's why it's so shocking. It's like,
Yes.
couldn't you like give
Mhm.
it a minute or something so like maybe we can miss it? Like this is too much.
Kyle thinks she doesn't comply to what every other housewife has to. She thinks she's
Mhm.
behind the camera, and no, Kyle, you're in front of the camera. You're getting paid for doing a certain job. Do it.
Yeah.
I think I was watching an episode of yours, Candy,
Yeah.
when you mentioned, well, you were talking about, Kyle's hypocrisy, where I think you played a clip of Kyle being interviewed by Andy Cohen about, what was it about again?
What
And
she said about Lisa Vanderpump when she was
I love
grieving the loss of her brother.
yes,
Like,
Yeah.
we all got stuff going on. Yeah.
yes, and how she just kind of brushed over, but like when it's her, it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Me. And it was like, yes, that's so true. Like, oh my gosh, I was listening to that and I'm like, and then I started thinking about everything that she says and how it's when it was the other way around, she just dismissed it. Like everything that she goes through, somebody has gone through and she's dismissed it.
Yeah.
That's why like I can't have like empathy for those kind of people.
Mhm.
I just look at them and I'm just like, I just am reminded all the times where you had zero empathy for anyone else and now it's your turn and you're like demanding it and it's just like,
It's
no,
like
girl.
And I
Yeah.
not a
couldn't
one-way street,
stand
it's a two-way
I couldn't
street.
I couldn't stand when Kyle said in her confessional, I think it was so whatever she was saying about Garcelle. She should know what it's like because she went through a divorce, and for her to bring that up, I was like, "Oh, Kyle,
Girl.
Kyle,
The thing what I will say is, one, I think if she does get this divorce, it might be the making of her because she might actually have to wake up and do things and not
Mm-hmm.
rely on hiding behind people, which I'm hoping so. And for the sisters, be there for her, but do not be holding her hand because this is what's led you down the garden path all these years of letting her get away with being
yeah, they
this.
gotta stop
Yes,
babying her.
yes,
Yeah.
they
yeah."
really do. It's not their job to mother her. She's a mother herself.
I,
Probably is
th-
going to be a grandmother soon.
I
Grow up, Kyle. Like seriously, grow up and be appreciated of the family what you do have around you, and don't mess it up every time because this is why you don't get to see baby Phoenix.
I
Mm-hmm.
think Kim babies
Hello.
her. I don't think Kathy does. I think Kathy's like, "Oh, Kyle, be quiet." Like, remember how she acted with her when she was on? She was like, "Okay, Kyle, stop crying," or "Why are you crying?" Like, I think
Well, everyone was
Kathy does.
asking that question
Yeah.
because she was like, she
Yeah.
did everything to Kathy, and then all of a sudden she was the one breaking out in tears and grasping her
Yeah.
pearls, and we were like,
Yeah,
why are you crying?
yeah.
Y'all
It's
really
just not
think that there's a problem in Kyle and Mercy's marriage for real, or do you think it's an act?
I
Do
think
you
there
really
really is.
believe
I think there
it?
really is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Why do you think that? Like, why? Like,
I think
what? Mhm,
I think it's multifaceted. I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. I think
mhm,
it's one. I think Kyle and both of them have dipped out on their marriage over the last decade or so, but Mauricio's cheating has been more forefront, and at
yeah.
the end of the day, she's been more embarrassed by it than he has. He's like, whatever, I'm doing me, and
Right.
she's the one who's out here looking like a fool. So I think there's that part of it. Then I
Mhm.
think the whole Mauricio and Dorit cheating rumors. Like, I don't care how strong your marriage is. If the entire world is laughing and kikiing, and I'll put my hands up because I'm one of those people, about your husband having sex with your best friend, that is going to cause a problem. Like, that's going to put a chink in anybody's armor. So I think on top of that, then I think Mauricio is just so hyper focused on the agency and him getting his money and him growing that he's traveling, he's doing him, he's not really
Yeah.
paying attention to her. And I think she needed more from him when her friend passed away. You know, when she took her own life. I think that it's fun to clown Kyle and we kiki
Mhm.
about it, but in reality, as an actual like human being, that's
Yeah.
a big psychological break. That's a big shot to anybody's psyche and identity.
Yeah.
And I think that Mauricio was kind of just business as usual, like cheating when he wants to cheat and, you know, working on the agency and doing him. And Kyle was like, wait a minute, we can't do business as usual. I actually like,
Need
I'm
you
actually in
now.
crisis now. And I
Yeah.
think he sort of just kept doing what he was doing and didn't realize that that dynamic no longer worked for her because fundamentally something had changed within her.
So he's
she
a
actually
person not-
required
and then also
a
on top,
spouse, and he wasn't doing it.
of that, we can't discard all of his legal issues. If your husband and his company is being sued for $32 million, $25 million, and then all these other little lawsuits, again, I don't care how strong your marriage is, that is going to take a toll. If my husband is repeatedly being sued for fraud, and not like 10 million, but like $32 million, $25 million over and over again, that's gonna put a dent in it. People get divorced over sex and money, and not feeling supported or seen or validated by their partner.
Well, like in that dinner they called it dinner from hell. Didn't that psychic say Maurice
He will never emotionally fulfill you. And when the kids are grown, you'll have nothing to talk
Nothing
about.
common.
Oh, she said that too?
Yep.
And the kids are grown.
And Kyle said that. She was like,
and Kyle said that verbatim.
I want to go to Aspen, but like, what are we going to talk about? We're not going to have anything to talk about, because I think that they are in very two separate mindsets,
right,
which is always not good when you should be growing with someone, not away from them. Like his mindset is, I want to go out, I want to make this money, I want to make agency this global company. He's just out here, wilding. And Kyle is more like, you know what, like, can we just like retire to Aspen and like chill and like just like hang out and just be together? Those are two vastly different life goals. And when you are not fundamentally compatible with your partner on the trajectory of where your life is going, you're not going to do life together. You're either going to stay married on paper and living separate lives, or you're going to get divorced.
I think it's so fascinating to find out what would make two people really grow apart that were so close in the beginning. Was it too much attention to the kids, enough? Like what would cause that? Because I wouldn't want that to happen. Like,
I can interject here. Like, the thing is, Kyle feels more safe at a churchyard or a crematorium because she knows fine well Mo hasn't been there. This is the reason why the marriage is split, because Mo has been up every skirt he can get. And, you know what I mean? Like, it's a
now it's a mine.
And now it's her turn.
But I will say this, Dorit jabbing the knife in when they went into the other room for Carl to turn around. I thought, Dorit, are you not happy enough the fact that you're trying to have an affair with her husband and you wanted to blow up and kick off at everyone, so you want to isolate her all together while taking a man and getting rid of PK? I mean, Dorit, what planet are you on, my dear? Like, seriously, you're looking crafty and nasty. And if I was Sutton, I'd wipe my hands of Dorit. I really would.
You think Dorit and Mauricio really have something going on? I mean, I do remember Mauricio when they were talking about which housewife would you hook up with. He did say
he said Dorit.
He said Dorit.
I remember that. I was
and then PK was like, not our wives.
He's like, not our wives.
Yes, like not including.
And then Mauricio was like, yeah.
And he answered it real quick.
He did. This is what I think. I think on a gut level, bare minimum, there was sexual tension. There was a chemistry. There was a vibe. There was a flirtation. There was an interest. There was a could we, should we situation going on. Particularly from her, I feel like she had more of a crush on him, where I think Mauricio is kind of just like, hey, like, whatever. Like, okay.
Wait. Give me an example. Give me an example.
For example, when I forgot where they were, but they were ordering something and Mauricio was like, oh, this is your chicken, Dorit. And she got things like, oh, like that's like my chicken, And then also there was the time when Dorit was getting out of pocket with like, I think it was either Erica during Pantygate or something like that. And Mauricio was like, hey, like calm down, like kind of like watching out for her. And it's like, why are you watching out for a woman who's like not your wife?
Yeah,
and
that's weird.
Just had, and if you just like watch them in general, they do have a sort of flirty sexual chemistry. They kind of look at each other, especially when they're all at dinners. You can kind of see them having this flirtation. I think definitely Dorit is more into Mauricio than he's into her.
Well, I do notice she calls him Mo. She's like, Mo.
She calls him Mo.
I'm like, oh,
and
okay.
all this stuff. And
then,
and then when else was it? There was something else that happened. I was like, oh my gosh. And like the photos of like her smelling him.
Oh,
and
yes,
then
that I remember.
And then the photos got, and I thought
She's
about this the
rubbing
other
his
day,
back
too.
and
She's
sniffing
rubbing
his
his
shoulder.
back.
I was like, wait, hold
And
on.
to me,
I
the
remember
most
that.
tell thing was the way she smelled him.
That's
Because
what I
it was
mean.
such an
Intimate.
intimate
Smell
thing to
somebody's
do. When
husband.
you smell
That's
a
like
man,
pheromones. Yeah, that's
that's
sexual.
pheromones.
You
That's
don't
like
do that.
we've done the bump and grind. Like, you've seen me and I've seen you. Like, to smell someone the way she smelled him,
You
Like,
to
don't
me,
do
is
that
way
unless
too
you're
Good
like
friends
unfamiliar.
with somebody's
Understand is
husband, but the
Dorit
Yeah.
limits. The
So bare
limits.
minimum, I
perfume.
think the sexual tension was there, which honestly
if I ever
is
saw someone
as bad. Is as
sniffing my
bad.
man, I'd
Yeah,
have
I would be
something
like,
to say.
That's
I would be like,
insane.
girl,
That's insane.
yeah, that's
Like,
insane.
ladies,
But
you
do
don't
I think they
understand.
ever actually had sex? Maybe.
You don't
Really?
understand this.
Yeah,
Dorit,
probably when they did the like couples like trips
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, definitely when they're not filming, but maybe like on the couples trips, like, oh my god, like, did you guys see oh, what is it called? What's that show called? Dun 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 show. Like, dun dun, dun. Oh, what is it called?
What?
That doesn't help, Candy.
Yeah, that doesn't help at all. Like, what kind of clue is that?
Wait, is it called White Lotus? Is there a TV show called White Lotus?
Yes.
It's on HBO.
What is it?
Yes, there is a show called that. I haven't seen it, so maybe that's
Wait a
why.
minute. Let me Google this real quick.
White Lotus, I think that's right.
White Lotus.
while Candy's Googling,
Yes! No, stop it. I'm done. So
Yeah,
yes, the White
ladies.
Lotus. No, so like in White Lotus, there in season 3 of White Lotus, there are like two couples that like meet up on vacation and like they end up like getting with each other in the same way. It's like, oh, I have a headache, I'm gonna go to my hotel room. And then the next one, an hour later, oh, I'm gonna go get like a refill, and like they're off for 2 hours and they're like bonking in the hotel room. So do I think something could have happened between Mauricio and Dorit? 100%.
I don't think
I
Kyle
wouldn't
would
put it
ever
past it.
like Kyle is her eyes would be like laser focused on Mauricio. Like I don't know.
He's been cheating on her allegedly for over a decade. So it's like, it's not like her eyes
but
have been that glued on him or that long,
I'm finding it like, ladies, what you don't understand is Dorit has a special perfume. It's called Essence of More. So and she's around it.
Not Essence of Mo.
Breathing it in. Essence of More. It's coming out this Christmas. Essence of More.
Essence of
By
Mo. By Dorit. Is that Dior? No, it's Ding Dong by Dorit.
It's Dorit, not Dior. But no. Anyways, I'm sorry. It's nearly 3 a.m. at night, and like in the morning, and I need to sleep. I'm sorry.
Yes,
everybody.
no, you're good. Thank you guys for holding me
Thank
down. And
you.
thank you
Thank you for
everybody for
having us.
waiting for me today. I appreciate you guys. I had like, my day job work. So thank you
Yes.
guys for like waiting for me. I
Good
appreciate it.
night, y'all. Bisous, bisous, bonsoir.
Thank you
It's
for
been
joining.
fun, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you,
sweetheart.
Candy.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Shout out to my fabulous panel tonight. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Natoski. Thank you, Candor. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Miss Bernice. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Thank you, Vodka, Miss T, Princess, Adam, NYC Nail, Mel. Who else was out here hanging out with us? Oh, Juniper Moon Turtle, Amy, what's up, sweetheart? Lavender Blunt holding it down. I think I already said Vodka, everybody, Charisma. If I missed you, I apologize. Barbara, thank you so much. DGF627. Who else? Velda, what's up, sweetheart? So for everybody joining me, thank you so much. Anna K, Crizzy, what's up? JV. Everybody, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Tay the Savior, what's up, sweetheart? How are you? So yes, if I missed you, I truly apologize. Thank you everybody for joining. Tonight was so much fun. It was lit. As always, put your questions, your comments down below. All opinions are welcomed here. Whether you agree or disagree, we're going to have fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a kiki. So bring your opinions, bring the kiki. Like, subscribe, and share, and stay safe, everybody. I love you. Mwah. I'll talk to you later. Bye.